U7 Buy provides the most convenient, fastest, and safest way to upgrade your team with numerous positive reviews and verified by top creators from different countries with 24/7 online customer support. Now you can enjoy an extra free coins for every order. Don't miss the opportunity for up to 4 million free coins. Use my code Inception for another 8% off. All right, guys. Man, just doing one player review takes the life out of me. I'm telling you this right now. Holy. And you play on the weekend during the daytime, like slow and sluggish FC, baby. Good luck with your commands. Good luck with the way your players feel, because my goodness. Bro, try to like break out of pressure when your players feel like that. Oh my goodness gracious. Like, just save me, bro. Anyways, evolutions. Let's talk about the evolutions. This will be the last video for today. I want to say it's going to be a long 2.5 months, but it's been a long year for this game, you know? So the evolution today seems to be a more defensive one, right? So the main things that I'm seeing from this evolution is that you can get Anticipate Plus and Intercept Plus. Like, that's like the main things here. Two of the most relevant playstyles to give, I would honestly say, every midfielder and every defender, because without those two playstyles, this game is genuinely annoying to play from time to time, right? An example of this is, we just did the review for Ruud van Nistelrooy, who I think is still a good SBC, especially if you decide team as a right back, right? But the consistency of challenges when you don't have Anticipate Plus, and even if you do, they're still stupid, right? But it's just a big difference, right? And you need to choose cards that have that, because when they don't, they are genuinely annoying to play with, right? So you can see that on Footbin, these guys are kind of going down the route of players that they already know are meta, right? Like Theo Hernandez is a pretty good example, because obviously on an anchor chemistry style, quick step with really high pace, all the defensive play styles being there. It's a really well formatted card, right? The defensive stats are there, the physical stats are there, the pace stats are there. For an upgrade, I don't even know what this is for. Is this for the position change? The position change is not relevant, right? So this is mainly just for the general upgrade here, right? So let's go Theo Hernandez. The CDM stuff is not really important, so it's more so just like going to his evolutions. Put it on a plate. Bruiser, Anticipate with... No, not that one. I guess this one is not here. What is this one called, this evolution? Invincible Mentality. Not even here? Not even updated? Do you have to... Oh, is that how that... Oh, it's the requirements from the actual thing. It's for a CDM, I think. Oh, new position, center mid for the CDM. It's the schneefing that people do. I see. So you make it, it's like there's another car, they did the same thing to it. I think it was Maldini. It's like you turn Maldini into a striker only because you want to be able to put him into an Evo where you increase his defensive stats. That makes more sense. Okay. That makes more sense. Okay, so yeah, it's mainly just to turn him into a player where you can still use him as a left back. That's the main thing here. Because you put them from the CDM position. So yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, moving on. We got a player like Rodri, who... This is a pretty good upgrade too. Is he's not a oh, he is a lengthy on a shadow. The only thing is the agility and balance being a little bit low. But honestly, bro, there was a certain time period this year I used, like, I think it was a Team of the Year card or this card. That was an Evo 2. I think it might have been the Team of the Year card. And I actually enjoyed him this year. I actually thought he was really, really solid for what he was. Different sort of CDM that you use in your team compared to like the more defensive ones. I always tell you guys that on a personal level, I would always try to have like two guys that are both good at attacking and defending, but more defensively, because of the cutbacks, physical engagements and stuff that I think are relevant. But again, for a free upgrade, this is going to be extinct for sure. I don't think he's going to really exist in the market, because you're giving him two of the main playstyle pluses. And when you know what's really crazy, right, is that it's not just that. You actually transform this card quite a bit in a more defensive way, because you don't have any shooting stuff, so you have to be very careful with how you line him up. You don't want to give him deep lying playmakers as CDM, I don't think, because 78 finishing means that he could still potentially attack in certain situations, which might not be ideal if you don't really force an attack out of him. But like the thing is that sometimes you're not really forcing attacks out of midfielders anyways, and they still find a way to get inside the 18-yard box. So that's where you have to be careful. I'd probably use him more as like a holding player. But if you did, defensive qualities wise, I could see him being really good. I mean, he has Bruiser Plus to work with a body type, all that kind of stuff, which is which is pretty good, right? Kobbie Mainoo, this card already had the playstyles. It's mainly for stat improvements, which, to be fair, makes a big difference on this card because it makes a big difference and it doesn't. So this card, if I give him a shadow, he's a lengthy, right? Oh, he's not. So you make him a lengthy on an anchor type of vibe. Then you have mid-90s for pace, lengthy, better defense, better physical, well-rounded card that actually has finishing capability. So that's actually not too bad. Especially for a card like this that has like the press proven, passing playstyles added as well. It's a very good improvement, actually. This is a very good card. You're not really looking at it from a point of view of giving him playstyle pluses. To be fair, you probably should be looking into that more, but I don't know how often they actually give you evolutions that are just stat upgrades. So if you want stat upgrades for a Kobbie Mainoo card that gets immediate results, pretty good in that sense too, right? Yeah, it's a good upgrade for him for sure. Patrick Vieira is definitely going to be another one too because of what we know from the card before, right? So with this Patrick Vieira card, base mechanics wise, you can't give him a shadow for a lengthy. It's an anchor. I think you could give him a shadow from before. That was like the main thing, right? Yeah, you could. So the way that the card is formatted, mainly for the anchor chemistry style to boost the pace, defense, and physical. 3 very relevant play styles. He still has a pinged pass, still has a press proven. Yeah, I mean, it's still a nice card, right? Center mid, CDM mainly. He has 81 finishing, so it's not as horrible to use him as a deep lying playmaker. Well, it is because he doesn't have the actual role. So this is a card that you use if you have the intention of using him as a holding plus player. Some formations, even in the center mid position specifically, like if you play 4-5-1 flat and he's played right down the middle, he would just be the more defensive player in that area. But some things are a little bit off the card. Some things, not like a whole lot, right? Gray gets an upgrade as well. Sentimental Value FC could be pretty decent on this one as well. Lengthy card with mid-90s for pace, anticipate and a bruiser, regular intercept. For me, Sentimental is there, but I think that giving the intercept plus and the anticipate plus is very relevant for these cards. I think you have to give them to most of the midfield. I would say all the midfielders and the defenders. Unless you're the type of person who is totally okay with using one more physical CDM and then the other one just being the build-up guy, which a lot of people do. I personally don't prefer that, but in my current SBC account, I use that system where it's like Hullet and then Pedri. But yeah, if I played consistently, it would be different for sure. Especially with Hullet not having Anticipate Plus, he would have that for sure. But yeah, Invincible mentality. Like, you can go in the direction of like the Jong and Gray if you want. But I feel like if you were to do this, it's because you have the intention more so to use them as a center mid, but as a CDM, they could still do a decent job because they're still well formatted, right? Like, they don't have Intercept Plus, which I think is a very relevant playstyle, but they're still a lengthy with mid-90s for pace. You give them bruisers so that the physical engagements could be better. And he has a right back position change, just doesn't have enough like roles for that to be really good, right? If you were to do something like that. De Jong, at this point in the game, I always feel like he's a type of card that you can use as a CDM, as that like build-up sort of CDM if you want. In the attack, you could do that too, but a little bit more debatable. Shadow chemistry style to increase pace and defense is definitely going to be the more relevant thing. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I think that I don't know if I would really go down this route, to be honest with you. Billing. People always upgrade this card because they like his base mechanic stuff. I have no opinion on him because I never really tried him out myself. But from what I'm seeing, he is a tall player at 6'6", tall and lean body type. Shooting stats are there. Shadow on a lengthy. Still has the base playstyles and intercept and anticipate. So some people might be totally okay with that as it is. But I think that generally speaking, he still looks pretty good. I think the improvements that you give him in the stat department could definitely be really nice if you enjoyed using that card beforehand, right? But that's always going to be personal preference based for sure, right? Lahm gets the improvement, so he already had long ball, anticipate, and now he gets a bruiser on the card. I don't think this is like super significant. I think he actually needs more of like a quick step, to be honest, if you want to use him in the right back position specifically. Shadow could be decent, but the thing is that he needs that pace boost, right? And then the physical is not really there. So it's kind of a card you got to give an anchor to, and then the finishing is low, and then like you're kind of doing it more for sentimental on a card like that, right? This card gets block plus, bruiser plus, and the anticipate plus. Still has a regular intercept. So defensive qualities in game could be pretty decent. Again, I do always prefer my players to have both the anticipate plus and the intercept plus, but the improvements on a card like this with good reactions, good composure, and base card stats for physical already being in a solid area is very solid, right? So it's a card like this that will allow you to do some sort of defensive animations from time to time, right? I've actually used some variations of Desailly's cards in the center back position, and some of them were actually still pretty decent. Do I think that it needs to be way more meta? Of course, I always tell this to people all the time, but even still, right? Makelele we skip right over just because, you know, the shooting is never really improved on this card all that much. Maicon can get stat improvements if you want to do the same sort of quote-unquote hack from before, I guess, because you turn him into a CDM, and then from the CDM, you can turn him into a right back. The relevant thing here would be the Bruiser Plus. I think Bruiser Plus would definitely be really helpful on his card, but I think with this card existing, and I think him having an evolution that actually gives him some really good stuff with a regular Bruiser, you're kind of just chilling in regards to that, but even that card has a regular Bruiser, so it could still be good, right? It could definitely still be good, especially on that anchor to increase the pace, defense, and physical. But yeah, it's interesting though, man, because you look at these cards and like, because he has a CDM position change, you can now use Theo as a center back, and he gets like some pretty significant improvements to make him a little bit more usable if you want a super upgraded version of this card, right? AC Milan fans will be all over a card like this because honestly, he could still do some good defensive animations. Again, doesn't have Intercept Plus, but does have a lot of passing play styles, base mechanic stuff when it comes to play styles that are still there, and then his physical stats is in a very good area. So defensive qualities wise, I could still see him being very good in game. Would I use him as a CDM or center mid? Probably not. Right back position with a fullback plus, it's not horrible. You could definitely try that out, especially since his dribbling is in a good area with a lengthy as well. Generally the type of card you want to kind of look into if you do those sort of improvements for sure, right? You got a card like Matuidi, who honestly, I've seen people have like some crazy evolutions with this Matuidi card when it comes to stat improvements, when it comes to play styles that you're giving him and stuff, right? So again, one of those types of cards that could be pretty cool to upgrade in the sense of being able to provide him both of the relevant play styles and anticipate and intercept, but Bruiser to help out with the anticipate, a quick step to help out with the initial acceleration because he's not a lengthy player, which I think would be really nice if he was, but obviously he's not. It could still be really cool. But yeah, I think you guys get the general gist of this one. I think for most of these cards in regards to usability, the improvements are very good, right? But I just think that you need to do your best to get cards that you're going to use a specific way, right? Like when it comes to the playstyle pluses on these cards, like I'm looking at Foot.gg and some of these cards that are trending. Like for me, I'm looking more like you get some good base improvements for some of these cards. And what they're doing here is like, oh, for a free upgrade, we're still going to give you good improvements and we're still going to give you the base playstyle, right? So they give you two or they give you both of them, but I would try to get the plus versions of both of them, right? Like even Ramires, right? Ramires actually gets plus the plus versions of both of those. Shadow chemistry style for this card would be like, okay, but he doesn't really have like shooting stats, right? Cards need to be like very high in stats nowadays to like really be nice. Çalhanoğlu is one of those cards where honestly, like base mechanics wise, he was actually pretty good. So it's one of those types of players where if you were to give him a shadow and he had the base play styles that he had, I still think he would perform pretty well, right? Because they gave him good base mechanic stuff, right? But yeah, do your best to try to get players that have both of those play styles if you're looking at it more from a defensive perspective. But if you just want that more build-up oriented CDM, that would be fine too, right? But even like a Camavinga, I would look into cards like this more than anything, right? Because his shooting is actually in a pretty decent area. And then anchor chemistry style, sure, you don't have like high 90s for pace, but you still have mid 90s for pace on a lengthy, 3 very relevant playstyle pluses, and then, you know, defensive stats is there, physical stats is there, and then it's just a well-formatted card in general that could do work in the midfield, right? So, yeah, these are the types of players that I would personally look into if I were to choose the evolutions for my cards. We'll leave it there for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will catch you guys for the videos tomorrow. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.